We really gotta wait for him.
What's that? Oh, it's a crane. Well, a blue heron or something, or pelican, whatever that thing is. Oh shoot.
Why was South Carolina first and Georgia was among the last? That's because it matters as to when your state house went back. There's a parking garage. There's lots of parking right here back there, so you don't have to go to my point. And traffic's not that bad. Yeah, Okay, so this is Reynolds Square.
How do I rent a horse and carriage?
She called me. Yeah, because that's the blue top. Yeah. Okay. You said it's called Reynolds? Yeah. All right, so a lot of that is so y'all just be on the lookout for the Ford Explorer. And
That's why that house is still here. Every fire that came through here didn't touch that house. I mean, like if the zombies come, that's where I'm going to go. Really, that's a really strong house. It is known to be very haunted. It's been on History Channel, Travel Channel, Ghost Adventures, Scariest Places on Earth, Colonial Williamsburg. That was occupied during the Revolutionary War by British soldiers. It was occupied during the Civil War by Union soldiers. A lot of construction out today. They have to get off the street by the 17th. We have one of the largest St. Patrick's Day celebrations in the United States. There'll be a million. Mother Church of Georgia, because this is where the first church was built. So you're looking at 1828. On the front, they'll tell you how many times it was destroyed by fire or hurricane. This is the church of Juliet Gordon Lowe, the founder of the Girl Scouts. They have 5 presidents have given speeches here. The last one was President Carter. The bell on the back bell tower on this side was made by Paul Revere and his father. Lieutenant Elder is buried out there. He's a Revolutionary War soldier. But I just want to show y'all days they had to keep adding. They added all the coloring to the fountain 3 days ago. There is another parade today. They did the Slytherin parade a couple days ago, and it was all snakes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Where is the parade? It's in town?
The big one is Abercorn and Bull Street. It's 3.5.
Today?
No, on St. Patrick.
Oh.
The other one is like the family parade, and I don't know where. I know they go by the cathedral, but it's kind of like all over. Y'all want to come down here some? This is kind of a better picture if you could get part of the monument. I'll step over here. I think that's pretty. I know it's kind of a bummer with the clouds like that. You're in Johnson Square. Johnson Square is our first square. It's the largest square. And you got the monument for Nathaniel Greene. Nathaniel Greene's one of our major generals during the Revolutionary War. He's from Rhode Island. He retired here when he was 44. Washington gave him 600 acres of land. He names it Mulberry Plantation. He goes off to clear the land. Then he had a heat stroke. I want you to think, what would you do for a heat stroke? Like hundreds of years ago.
For spring break. And I did this last year.
15 minutes, they're going to ring the time to tell you what time it is. At noon, all the church bells are going to ring, but not at the same time. They wait until on to the But Tom Gordon was the mayor here in the 1820s. This is when the big cotton boom happens, and Savannah's making so much money. It was us in London for all the cotton in the world. And when I went there last, they had a possum, and I was excited because you get the only time you get the whole possum. You know what I'm saying? So I get excited about that. So here's the monument for Tomachichi. This is from Stone Mountain, Georgia, up by Atlanta. If you come out here at night, you're going to see Girl Scouts out here, people on ghost tours. They're going to hold hands and circle this and go, Tomachichi, Tomachichi. And they think his ghost comes out of it. When I see them, I hide behind this tree and scare them. It's fun, so y'all should do it. This is also Hanging Square. This is where all the executions took place. I know you're going to do a ghost tour and they're going to tell you about it, but I just want you to remember this area because at night it looks very different. And then over here, all these buildings, they were built in 1815, and they're on top of our first cemetery. The only marker for it is by Liquid Sands Glass Gallery. I saw poltergeist, right? Don't do that, you know? I always think about that kind of stuff when I start thinking about the ghost. William
This is an important spot.
Feather flat. You're in Chippewa Square. You're in the middle square. It's the second largest square. Years ago, it used to walk by tons of it. Aluminum and copper. Now people, you know, they take it off the whole building and sell it. You don't see that either, but usually with green like that. This house has gone through a couple hands in the last 2 years. It was all remodeled by big parking stations.
That is nice though. I like it.
Yeah, it's because they want us to try it. And I like that we came by when it's rained because it's like the garden looks fresh. And you don't have too many front gardens. The two houses, the one we just saw had a front garden. They're built by the same person as Condor. So this is technically the Andrew Lowe house. He was in shipping and cotton. Juliet married into this family. But not really happy. After her husband died, she starts the Girl Scouts. She was already friends with the founder of the Boy Scouts and the founder of the Girl Guides. She didn't have any children. I think she was looking for something to do. So she puts up a ladder against the window, and the girl starts running up and down, crawling in out the window. And people come by and go, "What are you doing?"
Which is ironic, yeah, because it's next to a cemetery.
So he was answering me. I don't know. I hope not. We stopped. But we were talking about we were talking about how it and Mary Poppins and somehow Coralie doing it. And then he was like, "That's a good idea." And he took off.
These birds don't even run from you.
They trained them. They're tame.
Wait, really?
No. They do seem to be kind of cute. They're just used to being around people.
Yeah, because that morning dove like did not even move. Like I feel like I could have just picked it up, which I wouldn't. Don't know if it has disease on it or something. Oh, I got a little spider on me.
Yep.
A dumpy one. Like pretty.
Our azaleas don't even have leaves coming out yet.
Yeah, we went.
Oh. Hmm?
So this is Colonial Park Cemetery. This is 1750 to 1853. This doesn't look like a full cemetery, but this is overflowing. This is Potter's Field. It goes all the way to Floyd Street behind this building, and then all the way up to the firehouse. The best way to see this is to go to the front area.
I think they're herons, blue. They might be, or it could be storks. Tell me if we're about to crash into something. Oh yeah, that's why I wanted to come out here, because I checked the map, and it's like this beautiful like opening.
Yeah, this is nice.
Alright.
Yo, I'm getting kind of sick.
Wow.
I'm just getting a little closer to them.
Okay. Hey, I'll.
Okay, is that a predator or something? Like, or is it us?
It's us. It's definitely us.
Okay, but those guys don't care.
I hope it's not a predator out here.
I think we're okay.
I think we're the scariest thing out here. We have a whole boat and everything.
Yeah. I mean, look at that bush.
Oh no. Oh, so those must be the babies. That's why they're not flying. Oh, never mind.
All right, so now Anthony, shove the left hand in the ground. Shove it. Yep. And now to make it, and it'll spin the boat. No, don't push. Don't push. Don't push. No, you're using it as a brake. Quit pushing. All right, there you go. There you go. Start paddling on the right hand side.
Okay.
All right, you can let off, Anthony. Start paddling on the right hand side. Forward. Pull the front end of the boat around. Okay, now Anthony, you go to the left hand side to keep the boat straight and hit the hull. There you go. So back and forth, left hand side, left that side. You keep spinning. There you go. Oh, nice. All right, perfect. All right. Other side. Keep the front of the boat coming right here. There you go. All right. Right hand side. Bring your boat. Right hand side, Anthony. Hard. Put the paddle away from the boat and it'll spin over.
You made it.
Picture of this.
Oh, is that where the lake goes?
Huh? Where?
Wait, where do we get off at?
Oh no, it's the house right there.
Oh, that is the house.
Yeah, the gray house. Yeah.
How does grass grow? You want to take
This-
a picture?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. This spot is awesome right here. Oh.
That's a one branch in the water.
Huh? That's not very a pretty sight right there. No, there's not a pretty sight.
Sun will be here.
Brand new pair of Fiats. We got 900 horsepower on this boat. That maintains, hats, toupees, weaves, man buns, dogs, face masks, small children. Never know what comes final here. Bathroom anywhere outside the handrails. Try to stay downwind for the sake of the rest of the group. Lady in the corner's like, what? Bathroom's down here where I'm standing to the right. Redneck air, a little bit of that 125. It's one boat, 25 miles an hour, all natural, gluten-free AC. Oh, guys, look on the left-hand side there. Y'all see that tall, skinny white bird right at the edge of the marsh? Y'all want to get a picture of that? That's the rare Georgian albino flamingo. It's not often we get to see those. You see, there's only 14 of them left, and they're all male, so it's not looking too good for them. Now's a great time to tell you I make up about half this trip. If you can't tell which half, why should we? Just find all about it.
All right, you guys, we're gonna get going here. As you can tell, it's a little windy today, so just make sure you're holding on. About here one day, and somebody immediately dropped their phone. That's not a joke. Yeah. Any sort of monitor. Now is the time for it.
Look that way, the sun is...
Pelicans are brown pelicans. There's 9 species of pelican. These guys are the only ones that do that dive bomb aerosol into the water to get their prey. They come equipped with the nictitating membrane. That's like that third men in black eyelid that closes.
Where the sun is.
Got a bunch of pelicans on the starboard right-hand side here hanging on the rocks.
Look at that way, the sun is.
Got a bunch of pelicans on the starboard right-hand side here hanging on the rocks. Got a bunch of pelicans on the starboard right-hand side here hanging on the rocks. Got a bunch of pelicans on the starboard right-hand side here hanging on the rocks. Got a bunch of pelicans on the starboard right-hand side here hanging on the rocks. What do you call a pelican without any ambition? A pelicant.
I wipe my nose for this one.
Hey, you see a dolphin on the left? That was a nice lasso. Side, port side. Nice job, guys. Keep looking out there, Haley. Hey, beautiful. Looks like these guys are doing some feeding as well. O'clock-ish, 10, 11.
That's analog, not digital. All you adults on here teach kids how to read clocks out there. I said 9 o'clock. Before he chose college, she said, "I'm not military time." Her whole mom was like, "What?" There's an AM, PM, time zone.
I hope I got that.
Still out there? Nice.
Yep.
So today we're looking at coastal bottlenose dolphin. There we go.
Wow.
We are lucky we have what's called a residential population of coastal bottlenose dolphin. That just means they don't migrate. They don't leave this area all year long. There's about 200 to 250 individuals within a 10-mile radius of us. Beautiful. Left side, nice and close. They get everything they need. They get food, safety, people yelling dolphin in their faces 3, 4, 5 times a day, every day. It's beautiful. Everything they need. Something really cool that happens when you have a residential population is you get to know them. So every dolphin in the world has a unique dorsal fin. That's the one on their back that we see. It's kind of like our fingerprints. Every one of their dorsals is a little bit different. Some are even more different than others. They're really distinctive. We've decided to name some of those guys. We've got a couple of males out here that like to swim together. One of them's got a nick out of the back of his dorsal fin. We call that one Nick. His best friend he likes to swim with, his dorsal fin's actually straight across. Somebody chipped it with like an old boating accident a long time ago. That one is Chip. Chip and Nick are always together. There's a male out here. We actually saw him today earlier. His dorsal fin is really angular. It looks a lot more like a shark fin than a dolphin. We call that one Fin Diesel. There's some babies out here as well. They have babies all year round, so maybe we'll get lucky and see a little one. They may be under the boat, guys. There's no highways, remember, like we said, so make sure you're keeping your head on a swivel. They might be over on the right side.
He wants some attention.
Starboard, right side, real close, 15 feet out, 3 o'clock.
My arms starting to get tired.
Oh, the dolphin just gave you the middle flipper. Flippered you off. So they're doing deep dives out here, pulling the whole tail out of water while they're staying down a little bit longer. Why did the dolphin cross the river? To get to the other tide. Yeah, I promised I'd do things. Bad jokes and dolphin, we're about 1,000. We have plenty of room all down the right-hand side of the boat if I want to slide back a little bit, we'll love to. So we got at least 3 on the right-hand side there. I've seen 3 different fins.
These are some great photo opportunities, you guys.
That one's playing shark. We're gonna need a bigger boat. So we actually saw one of those had a big chunk taken out of the back. That is shark bite. We've seen that one, what about maybe 6 years ago, somewhere in there.
Part of what we're looking for are the spouts coming out of the blowhole on their back. Dolphin.
All right, see if we can put them back on port on the left-hand side again for you.
Left. No, they're so cute. We were talking about dolphins being mammals earlier. Something really cool that comes with that is how they've adapted to get their rest. How dolphins sleep living in the water, needing to breathe air. They actually do it one side of their brain at a time. So the one side will shut down completely, go to sleep. The other side stays awake, keeps them swimming, breathing, staying alive. After about 4 hours, being when most people want to play with them. But lucky for us, these guys are well rested, wide awake for us to play with.
You guys are all jammed up front. There's plenty of room down the sides of the boat if you want to get closer to that handrail.
I think cats are able to split their brain too when they
There's
sleep.
expensive phones.
I think cats are also able to
You
sleep.
drop that bad boy overboard this myself.
Yeah, like they're-
popping its head out of the water.
I'm gonna keep an eye out for him.
There you go. Here's a neat fact. Most small-toothed whales are considered a type of dolphin. So with saying that, does anybody know the largest species of dolphin? I'll give you a hint. It's famous on a big scale. Don't be shy. Yell it out. What you got?
Dolphin, they can actually jump higher than houses. They have that big fluke in the back, helps them get that kind of power. Plus, houses don't jump. Look at them go.
Science.
That might be the biggest laugh I've ever gotten for that joke. Thank you. I'll keep telling it.
Oh shoot.
Well, they can jump about twice their body length. So some dolphins, the ones in this bay, have been measured between 9 and 10 feet long. So they can jump about 20 feet, which is higher than some houses. So, I mean, that's totally reasonable.
You better not jump
All
in
right,
here.
it might be going onto the front of the boat. Let's see. Oh no, we just ran it over. 30 points, dolphin. Fingers for everybody.
Wow.
I know that joke's a bad taste.
Nice and close here on the left.
Haley, turn around so I can get your picture of it.
Are you guys getting some pretty good photos, videos? Yeah? You want to play a game?
It's gonna go back up. Keep looking.
All right. If anybody can get a selfie, the first person to get a selfie with a dolphin, this big ship, I've got a prize for you. First person only. Come give me a high five and a Ric Flair.
Up front, it's going to be a windy ride on the way back. If you want to go to the back of the boat, you're more than welcome. That is pretty small compared to some of the big ships we get here in the Port of Savannah. Some of the biggest ones in the world are 1,400 feet long. The height of the Empire State Building. The biggest one we get here is 1,302 feet long. Anybody guess on the big ships how many of those containers they can hold? Any numbers throw out there? I heard 1,500 and I heard a couple hundred in back there. So I'll tell you, the big ones here, there you go, right alongside. Hang on, guys, get some waves coming from back side to side. The big ones, the large ships, can hold over 16,000 of the small 20-foot containers, or half that in those bigger 40, 45 footers. Hang on, guys, get some waves coming.
Hold on, buddy.
Woo!
Whee!
Oh shit! Whoa!
Monster would pay losses. I'm not seeing any icebergs. You notice there's a little boat following that out. It says pilot on the side of it. See how it's got a little ladder system on the front of it?
Yeah.
So there's actually a special person called a bar pilot or river pilot that's currently helping the captain of that ship run it out of the port of Savannah. They'll go about 6 miles offshore, then he climbs down a rope ladder on the side of that ship. You actually see it hanging down there onto that little boat. Then they'll run the whole way back to shore too. When these boats come in, that same pilot, bar pilot, river pilot, has to run the whole way in as well to make contact with the Yep, so they got a really good job. They worked 7 days on. View.
That's a little bit of a love story and a ghost story. She was probably the first ever documented woman to get ghosted.
Got outside my window here, got my new MySpace profile picture. There you go, sir. Change your background song to this little lineup. Get you a nice selfie there for Instagram. Post inspirational.
I'm horrible at pictures, so I just got my forehead, and that's me. Oh yeah. It's behind you. I know, but.
Bum, bum, bum.
Oh my gosh, what is that? What the heck? I think I just found a dead jellyfish. I don't know what this is. Oh, whoa, I'm not touching that.
That's a dead jellyfish?
Bro is out. Oh shoot, no, what? Oh, he's out of it. Dang. I think it's another one. What's happening to these guys?
Is it alive?
I'm not touching it. More than likely, he's still a little moist, but I don't think the tide's gonna come up. And I think the seagulls are gonna eat them, man. I don't know if they eat jellyfish or not. Yep. He's eating the jellyfish. Yeah, look, he's eating the other one right there. Got a nice nature documentary right here. He's eating it.
Yeah.
You know what kind of jellyfish that is? You think, are they gonna die? Do you want a seagull? Yeah, a seagull. Just eating it. Oh, so you can touch it.
Don't touch the bottom, touch the top.
Oh, I can't distinguish. So, found this though. It's not cool.
Oh, cool.
I'm gonna toss it back.
So it's a ring-billed gull.
Oh yeah.
He's got a little black ring.
What was the black-headed ones?
Where?
I was talking about the black-headed gulls. Because I know the ring-billed gull.
I don't know.
Oh.
gave me your video.
Like, they're fearless. They just don't run from us. Wow. Fortunately, there's no cars coming through here. Ford Model A. Wow.
Same thing.
You gotta get that 360 view. Oh wow. They got me. I thought it was just like a hyper realistic painting.
No, but like it was drawn to like art studios.
So strange smell up here. Let's see what's further in here. That's terrifying.
These people must be.
Bubbles. I don't know where that came from. I don't think we even got here.
Well, there's no slush.
These guys though. Tell me if they call me.
More jobs! More jobs! You don't got it, you ain't want it. You don't need it. Tell the people.
He's one of the sons.
Watch out. Oh wow. Oh, that looks good.
The entire South. For over a century, we didn't realize it was a masquerade. From 1809 to 2005, we marked this square as undeveloped. What undeveloped means is nothing here. No waterworks, no electrical works, no monuments, no bodies, nothing. We enjoyed having a square like that. It was the only undeveloped square we had. Every other square at least had bodies in it, so this one got to be unique. Now, we added things as time went on, things like the walkways and the benches, but we never actually dug into this square, not very deep. But come 2005, we have an issue. We're a tourist city now, and we have a square in the center of downtown with no lights in it. That becomes incredibly dangerous. So we have to put lights in here quick. The first light we would have dug for would have gone in between these two lights here. And as we dug, we came across a human skull. That's a problem, not supposed to be anyone here, so we halt construction and we bring the sonar out. Just so everyone kind of has an idea as to what this sonar looks like. I want you to imagine a big black screen with a green grid. And when we are scanning, we're scanning for things that would have the density of an average bone. And it would bounce the sonar back up, and that's how we know kind of where it would be. So the idea would be that if there were any bones here, we would see just a tiny green dot in a few places. We scanned the square. The entire square was green. We think there's no way that's the way this square is. Surely we would have known something about it. So we upturned this square, and we discovered 849 bodies. They were mostly buried directly on top of each other. They were all women and children, and they were all wearing European-style garb, meaning that these were not Yamakra bodies. The most troubling thing of all was the bodies were in different states of decay. So this was not a mass grave after a war. This was a continuous burial. We do a little bit of what I call historical detective work, just trying to piece together what this could have been using diaries and journals. And what we realize is this is a graveyard for the enslaved people of Savannah. These would have been what were called household slaves, women who were forced to work as cooks or nannies or maids. The children would have been little girls being raised to do the same. There were graveyards similar to this, near the swamp and out near the river, but those graveyards were properly marked. Why were so many of the enslaved people buried here? It's because you're sitting where the old money of Savannah lived. All the richest families were around this square. It was as simple as they didn't want to have to cross a city to bury their enslaved people. So they were buried here in a shallow grave. There were never any tombstones, never any marking to make this a proper gravesite. In time, we stopped even mentioning it in our texts, which is how we end up with over a century where every city charter and every city map claimed that this square was undeveloped. We never thought to question it. Already you can see how this place can become a place of great spiritual negativity. We disrespected nearly 1,000 people by burying them here in what was effectively a mass grave. And it became a gateway for more negative spirits to come into this city. I could tell you a bad story about every single building around us, but one that stands out more so than the rest is that building over there, the pink one. That is the Benjamin Wilson House. It was built in 1850 by Benjamin Wilson. He was a haberdasher. Anyone know what a haberdasher is? I'll tell you, it was a hat maker. I think I actually heard someone say that. It was a hat maker. And at that time, the hat maker was a massive figure in a city. They controlled men's fashion, yes, but they also controlled who got to be an elite. You didn't get to join the upper crust of the social circles unless you had the right clothing. And the only person who could give you that clothing was the haberdasher. Mr. Wilson effectively became the power in Savannah because he got to decide who had social mobility. At that time, you were not a proper Southern gentleman unless you owned a black felt hat. And the way you get a black felt hat is you take a brown beaver fur and you douse that thing in mercury. Nowadays, we know mercury is very bad for you. We don't even put it in thermostats, right? But back in the 1800s, we thought that mercury was a miracle metal. We used it for everything. If you had depression, you took mercury tablets. Wow. If you had a bad back, you get a shot of mercury into your spine. If you had an infection, you would take raw mercury and rub it directly into the open wound. And if you were a haberdasher, you used mercury to help seal and waterproof your hats. This was not just for hats. You would also use it for shoes and dresses and gloves. If you're familiar with the Mad Hatter, or the saying mad as a hatter from Alice in Wonderland, that is where this comes from. As early as the 1600s, we understood that people who worked in clothing tended to go insane, but we never blamed the mercury for it. And in fact, you would be given mercury medication to treat the symptoms of what we now know are mercury poisoning. Mercury affects every single part of your body. It will make your blood too thick to properly go through your veins. It will affect all 5 of your senses. It will affect your motor controls, your ability to speak, your ability to make rational decisions, your memories. It can even affect your physical appearance, giving you very pale white skin and very bright orange hair. Mr. Wilson is not doing well by 1850. Already people have noted that he is very different than the man he was even just a few years before. But once you're rich enough, you stop being crazy and you start being eccentric. And Mr. Wilson was one of the richest men in town, so he was just very eccentric. That all changed in 1852. In 1852, Savannah had one of its final yellow fever outbreaks. Yellow fever killed thousands of people in Savannah's history, and the entire household got sick. In 1852, Mr. Wilson had a beautiful wife and 9 wonderful children. After that sickness spread through that house, the wife and all the children died, except for one, the 6-year-old Lily, the youngest of the children. Most parents would celebrate that child surviving. Mr. Wilson writes in his diary, "I wish Lily had the grace to die quietly, as opposed to so loudly disgrace my name with her survival." At that time in the city of Savannah, if you were a single parent, you could not go to church, you could not attend social gatherings, and you could not do business in the city of Savannah. That was not a Southern thing, that was not a Georgia thing, that was a Savannah thing. We've always been a very insulated city, especially in the time before social media. We've always just had our own ways of doing things, and this is one of the worst examples of it. At that time, if you were a single parent, it was believed that God was punishing your house, and you were expected to pack up and leave or be shunned until the day you died. Mr. Wilson didn't leave, so he was shunned. Overnight, he loses everything: his fortune, his notoriety, his influence, and he blames it all on Lily. Had she died, he'd still have everything. It's her fault. He has a staff that works for him, and they describe a man who's prone to temper tantrums, throwing himself to the ground and punching it when he's angry. He sings little songs, gives people very childish nicknames. And when it comes to Lily, he insults her based on her height, her weight, her teeth, her appearance. People describe him more like the obnoxious younger sibling to Lily as opposed to her nearly 50-year-old dad. It becomes even worse in 1853 when that building is built. That is Massey, the first public school in all of Savannah. Massey was a school for families that couldn't afford private tutors, which is to say, poor families. Mr. Wilson saw this as a grave insult that poor families would now be so close to his place of living. So he tells Lily, "Do not interact with any child below my standing." Well, one night, Lily sees the children out here during their recess period. So she comes out and she plays with them. You gotta remember, this is a 6-year-old little girl. Over the course of a year, she's lost her mom, she's lost all of her brothers and sisters. This would have been the first time in all that time she even saw kids her own age, because her friends were shunning her. She just wants to come out and play with someone. Well, Mr. Wilson sees her out here. He comes out, he grabs her by her hair, and he pulls her back inside that building. He takes her into the dining room. And in that dining room, he takes a chair and puts it in front of the window. He puts Lily in that chair, and he ties her down with a rope. And then gathers up his staff, his waiters, his maids, his butlers, and he tells them, "Do not talk to Lily, do not feed Lily, do not change Lily, do not give Lily any water. She's to stay in that room until I come back." And then he leaves. He's gone for 3 days. As for his staff, they don't want to get in the middle of this family drama, so they leave too. They're gone for 10 days. That leaves Lily alone in that house for 3 days in the middle of August where the highs are over 100 degrees. And where every second of the day, sunlight is pouring through 2 inches of glass directly onto a little girl who can't even shield herself. We don't know why Mr. Wilson did this to her. People have speculated maybe it was to prove a point. Oh, you think these kids are your friends? Well, they're going to see you be punished and they're going to play anyways. And if that's the point he wanted to prove, he was right. We have 90 written accounts of people who saw Lily and then went home and talked about it in their diaries or their journals. But none of them did anything to help that little girl because they were still shunning the Wilson family. After 3 days, Mr. Wilson comes home. He goes into that dining room and he finds that Lily has died of heat exhaustion. What's even worse is that she's completely mutilated. I don't know if you've ever tried to get into your car on a very hot day, but you know how much it is like an oven. It hurts to breathe in air that cold, or rather that hot and that still. Lily, she must have been in intense pain as that sunlight kept bearing down on her. Many children, when they're in pain, think that if they make themselves smaller, the pain won't be so bad. That's why even as adults, if we break our leg, we're probably going to assume a fetal position without thinking about it. It's a subconscious thing. Lily couldn't do that. But in her chair, still tied down, she could bury her chin in her chest and try to hide on her shoulder. Her face was covered in a horrible grimace by the time she died. And that sunlight still bearing down on her covered her skin in blisters and boils and sunburns. Mr. Wilson didn't just kill his daughter, he had disfigured her using the sun. I want you to imagine ants under a magnifying glass, just on a much more horrible scale. And that's what killed the 6-year-old. Mr. Wilson sees this. He unties her, he carries her upstairs, and he tucks her into her bed one last time. He then takes that same rope, takes her over to the staircase, and throws it over a rafter. The staff would have found him about a week later. Believe it or not, people were pretty quick to try to move into this house after the deaths. In Savannah, death was so common, even horrific deaths, that if your neighbor died and they had a better house than you, you were actively encouraged to attempt to take the property over. Different story by the 1950s. In 1949, there's a new family, the Shirelles, mom and dad and 3 daughters. Well, a few years later in 1952, mom and dad think, hey, the girls are old enough, they're 15, 12, and 11. There's a lock on the door, there's a policeman that drives through every hour. We can leave the girls here tonight. So mom and dad, they go down to the river, they have a date night. What they did not realize was their 11-year-old had a new boyfriend. Boyfriend lived in that house over there with the American flag. His name was Robbie. Robbie was one of the first members of the first known cult of Satan in Savannah. Just to be abundantly clear, this is not the Satanic Temple, this is not the Church of Satan. This was a group of religious extremists that firebombed our synagogue in 1959. A few years before that, in 1952, they kicked Robbie out for unknown reasons. Alongside that, Robbie was 19 years old and dating the 11-year-old. So he comes over and lets himself in. When the parents come home the next day, they go into their parlor in the back of the house and they find their daughters there. Robbie had taken a knife, cut from their sternum, down past the navel, and then forced the abdomens open. He then put the bodies into a circle and drew a pentagram in between them and shot. This murder could only be described as ritualistic, but we don't have any details of it because we never arrested Robbie. Robbie fled the city of Savannah, and to this day we have no idea where he fled to. Now, I'm not going to fleece you guys. If Robbie were still alive today, he'd be in his 90s. The reality is, he probably died a very, very long time ago. A lot of people in Savannah try to focus in on the idea that we have some boogeyman running around. That's not the tragedy. The tragedy is that a child murderer accomplished his mission of murdering 3 little girls and got away with it. And that was too much for the Shirelles. They abandoned this house. From 1953 to 2018, there were no owners of that property. No upkeep, no maintenance. The house was disgusting by the time I was born in 1999. Paint peeling off the walls, windows busted out, floorboards and ceilings caving in. That place should have been condemned. And the only reason it wasn't is because that's a historic building in historic downtown Savannah. The only people who get to touch that property are private interests if they want to try to restore it themselves. The city can't do anything with it, we can't condemn it, we can't destroy it, we can't purchase it. If there isn't a private interest, we're going to wait for nature to run its course and for the building to collapse. That is how backwards a lot of our laws when it comes to historic buildings can be at times. There is also a very unfortunate tradition that came up with this house. Teenagers would break in there at night and see how long they could last. I cannot tell you if I was ever a part of this group or not, but what I could tell you is that everyone who went in there could tell you a very similar story. You go inside and the entire place smells like a swamp. It's this horrible muddy smell throughout the entire building. If you were to go into the dining room, you start crying, you're overcome with emotion, you don't really know from what. If you were to go into the parlor, you feel these hands that grab you, and they start to claw like they want to get underneath your skin. You try to go up the stairs and you feel this heavy breathing on your neck. You can swear you can smell cigar breath around you. And if you actually make it up to that top floor, that's when you feel a little hand again, but now that hand is poking you in your neck and in your ribs, forcing you back towards the stairs. People would go in there for a few minutes and come right back out every time. There was another unfortunate tradition. This died out once we put the lights in, but you should realize we were a tourist city starting about 1995. We didn't put those lights in until 2005. A lot of horrible crimes were carried out in this square because there were no lights, no cameras. That house had very thick walls, no owners to report anything out of place. From 1995 until 2005, there were 14 separate cases in which college-age men would take either young women or members of the homeless community in Savannah into that house and murder them. On more than one occasion, there was also instances of sexual assault inside that house. There are people who try to attribute this to a curse. I am not going to be so crass as to do that. The reality is, it was a house that if you were a sick individual, sick enough to attempt to plan something like this, it was a good way to go about it. But you can start to see the reputation of this house was disgusting. Even if you dismiss all the paranormal, the sheer number of violent deaths inside the house would make people wary of trying to purchase it. And yet, imagine my surprise in 2018 when I started doing this tour, when a new family bought it. Mom and Dad and 2 little boys. And Mom and Dad and 2 little boys, it took them 2 years and millions of dollars, but they made the house beautiful again. It was already the largest private home left in downtown, but now it was gorgeous, using all original materials, one of the most drop-dead properties on the entire city. And once they were through the reconstruction in 2020, this became their summer home. In 2021 and 2022, they kind of became the party family of Savannah. Block parties in the square constantly, get-togethers inside the house. The type of people who would come out and talk to ghost groups, or if you were on the sidewalk and waved to them, they'd wave hello right back. They weren't live wires. That's not really the term I'm looking for. They were ultra extroverts. They loved conversation. They loved meeting people. They were incredible to talk to. And we were excited in December of 2022 when they said they're going to move into this place full time. We love new neighbors in Savannah. Well, as soon as they're in there full time in January 2023, they stop. No more block parties, no more get-togethers, no more coming out to talk to ghost groups. You wave to them on the street, they don't wave hello back to you. They don't even post on social media anymore. They go from being some of the most lively people in the entire city to just being reclusive. It would have been in May of 2023 that they had their first exorcism. They had their second in September, they had their third in November. After that third one in November, they put the house up for sale. Just to be abundantly clear, we don't know anything about those exorcisms. Details about that would have to come from either the church or the property. All we know is that the bishop in Atlanta sent people down here to look over the house, and we know the dates that they were here for, but we don't know what they did. What we do know is they put the house up for sale. And I want to paint a picture for you guys. This is Savannah. Property is expensive, and it goes very, very quickly. There's a townhouse over there with a red door. It was on the market in December of last year. It was asking for $10 million. It is already sold. That is the largest private home in downtown Savannah. In December of 2023, they put that house up for sale for $10 million. It is now March of 2025. It's been on the market for nearly a year and a half. They are asking for $5 million because there's been no interest. Between the paranormal circumstances and the real-life murders, there's no interest in people to purchase this house. The family still live there full-time, and they're waiting for someone to come along and purchase it from them. There's been no takers yet. So why didn't someone in Savannah buy it? I mean, we love our haunted houses, right? Why don't we turn this one into a tourist trap? That's because if you're born and raised in Savannah, you know which buildings you're allowed to play with and which ones you're not. When we were coming up, the old folks didn't call this one the Benjamin Wilson House. They called it the Demon House. And even when we were coming into this square and breaking into that house, no one ever made a joke about looking through the windows here. If you come into this square at night, there's a chance that you might see a little girl staring right back out at you from that kitchen. If you see that little girl, you need to look down at your feet and you need to leave the square. Do not look back up until you're out. Because if you look that little girl in the eye, you will be in for a world of pain. The best case scenario is you will enter total dissociation. Total dissociation is a light form of catatonic state. Your eyes are open, but you are not awake, you are not alert, and you will be that way for some period of time. The worst case scenario is you will see something in that window and you will be compelled to harm yourself. At least once a year, every year in the city of Savannah since 1953, someone has taken their own lives in a public place and said that this is the reason as to why they were compelled to do it. The most recent case of this happening was in April of 2024. There was a young woman who went into City Market with a handgun, and after she took her own life, we found her note in her back pocket. And she said that this house was the reason why she did it. That is over 70 years now of this happening. In Savannah, we do not play with this house. We don't know what's behind that window. Maybe it's an angry spirit. We didn't help Lily when she was alive, so now she's attacking us. Maybe it's a demon. Robbie did his murders in 1952. This thing showed up in 1953. Maybe it's both those things. Maybe it's neither of those things. We don't know. All we know is the things that you can and can't do around it. I have a photo on my tablet. This photo was taken back in 2018. I told you I started doing this tour in 2018. Before I did this tour was done by my boss and his partner. It was a couples tour. And as they were coming through the square one night, they see something in the window. So they both pull out their phones, they take a couple of photos of it. They don't know that there's respect that you have to pay to these things. My boss took a pretty long sabbatical after that. I was fresh out of high school. I became temporary tour guide. All these years later, I have become permanent tour guide because they didn't want to come back to the square. I've looked at this photo every night for 6 years. Never had any issue with it. I've had people look at the photo and get nauseous, or get migraines, or put their hands on me. I don't think it's the photo. I think that they hear the story, they hear that word demon, and they get into their own heads a little bit. But I'm going to tell you now, if you don't want to see the photo, all you have to do is say, "Hey Ron, skip me over." You get no guff out of me. I've had full groups of 60 people where every person said skip me. I will also tell you this, if you want to get closer to the house, we can, but do not go over yet. After I show everyone the photo, we have special rules for this house, and we'll go over that once everyone's had a chance, okay?
I'm not going to the house. Oops.
You're not, you gonna stay in here with that?
Yeah, with the footage of it.
That's kind of full day, so the only thing we have left, we're volunteering at Union Mission at the homeless shelter in Savannah, so that's the last thing we're doing. But we've done, we did a dolphin tour, we did a walk with Elizabeth tour. There we go. What was it, 2 last year?
Thank you for having us in a straight quiet line, like I absolutely.
What was it, Anthony? It's like 2 of them are brothers? Yeah.
There's 3 of them, and they're all brothers.
Oh, they're all brothers.
And they're about 9 years old now. I think they're turning 10 this year.
And there was a 4th that had a seizure?
Yes. They had a sister.
I have an issue with males breaking in or something. I think I remember Eric saying that. Like there'd be they just came out here one day and it was random male that jumped the fence to breed with the females.
That's really scary.
That's some dedication right
That's
there.
whatever he says.
So what type of deer are these?
So they're white tail.
These are the same ones.
Yeah, we see them all the time on the side of the road dead.
Oh, those deer.
Yeah.
Girls and a boy. Pete, the boy. So have you guys ever like seen a baby deer in the wild?
No.
Or like know anyone that's grabbed one? No. So these guys are all, this is really cluttered. I don't know if Neil knows what's happening over here. But, so these guys all were kidnapped at some point from the wild. So a mama deer will just leave her babies because the mom smells like deer and the baby doesn't smell like deer.
Is that her right there?
Can't adjust the those feathers on their head. Like,
I'll get out your way.
I also have like super stealthy feathers too. That is awesome.
So something kind of cool about owls, their tufts are not where their ears are, so they'll have the ears.
Yeah.
Oh, he's irritated.
Come on up. That's me.
he's like,
That's what, yeah.
he's like,
That's
why
all
y'all
right.
waking me up?
Let me come out here and see what y'all want. Don't look at me.
Might as well come out. Oh, look at us.
So this is an Ossabaw hog.
Oh. Okay.
Imagine having that as your neighbor. I'd be cranky too.
Come on.
He's taking his sweet time. I don't think there's any food in there.
I like this.
He sure is.
Sniffing for leftovers.
Yeah.
What tail?
It's very.
I don't see it. Oh, it's that little piece of hair. Oh.
He don't look.
How fast is
You had this guy.
Fat, bigger than little.
Yeah.
How quick is his
Yes. Yeah. How quick is this one? Yeah, so they use hog hair for brushes.
I'm starting to itch being around him.
I had a pet bunny. I'm so sorry. A white one with red eyes. It was dead. I don't know.
Another great story.
Why every story we tell someone?
My sister had a iguana, and she didn't know that they hibernated, so she buried it.
It's
thinking
the
it
first.
was dead.
Wait, what?
Yeah, my sister had a iguana. She didn't know that it was hibernating, so
You guys can touch him.
she
And
That's a
Hannah's gonna
buried it.
That's tragic.
And that's when it died. It's a
It's a boy, so his favorite spot is if you go right here.
He's so chunky.
He's old, he's like 10 years old.
Wow.
Or a mixture.
In captivity. So he is a domestic baby. So he's a lot more chill. If I were to like find a cottontail in the wild and like kidnapped it, I feel like I'm talking about kidnapping wild animals a lot today. But if I were to kidnap a wild cottontail, they would freeze because she's eating. She's like, all right.
What's she eating? Oh.
But this is my Hoo-Hoo. She is 28 years old.
Uh-huh.
Old lady.
She has a broken wing.
So she was found by people, same thing as the hawk, the red-shouldered hawk. So she is wow. She does not know how to owl.
Oh, I see.
She's staring directly.
Oh my god! She also has an owl friend that visits her. So they're kind of figuring out their dominance right now, trying to relearn their dynamics.
So these eggs over here, they're real?
They're fake.
Oh. I was excited for a minute.
Can I do and talk about alligators?
That's a male and a female?
Two boys.
Oh, two males and two males, okay.
Yeah, so our alligators we got here, they were nuisance alligators, which means they were approaching humans. And the cause of that is typically, she still has the feathers.
Oh!
The cause of that is because someone had approached these alligators first and were trying to feed them. And so then they became accustomed to associating humans with food, which means they will start to approach you. And for an adult, it's not as big of an issue, but if you have like someone's little dog or someone's toddler, that is when it becomes an issue. So most of the time, nuisance alligators get put down, but these two were wrangled by DNR and brought here, so they're actually very lucky to be here because otherwise they probably would have been put down because they were approaching humans. Alligators are also really cool because they are reptiles, but they have some different.
And these two get some really fun enrichment. There is this wire right here, and we'll hang like full deer legs off the wire. So that's really fun to watch. We don't do that for the little children. Awesome.
Oh, well, you can.
Because they're like cats.
Tadpoles.
Thanks, Braxton. For real. I was waiting for Braxton to answer.
Well, you see those holes right there? I wonder what those are. It's like little holes in the ground.
I know. No.
Mud crabs?
I know what it is. It's like the sand crab.
Oh.
Something close to that.
I wonder if those are the things that we saw back there, the alligators. You'd be surprised how
No.
many people
Have
told
you
me
ever
that.
seen
Have you ever
one?
I'm
seen a
offended.
shark?
This is the time you
Look at all these
answer.
cool things I have in my bag.
Right, man.
So it's a nurse shark egg. Super cool. Yeah, here, you guys pass around. Don't drop it back.
That is a weird bird. I'm out here on a kayak. Oh, sorry. Look how pretty this is. I saw a hawk, but missed it though, couldn't record it. Bird over there is just flying in place. Well, now that I'm recording it, it's not doing that anymore. It was weird. It was just standing in place. I don't know. There's some weird birds out here. The wind is taking me The birds are flying. Look at them go. Look at them go. Oh, there's that patch of algae right here. It's pretty cool. It's kind of gross. It's a little turtle gasping for air. Oh, I just dipped back in. I wonder if I caught him. I saw a little turtle. Wow. Let's see if he'll come back up. Keep a lookout for him. Yeah. Oh, he's right there, coming closer to me. Nope, he disappeared again. Well, here I am out in the open. You can see a little turtle right there. They're like poking their heads out for some reason. If I get closer, he's gonna pop away. Yep, there he goes.